is a poem by Michael Rosen, the prominent British Jewish writer and broadcaster, children's laureate of a few years ago, and a fierce critic of Israeli Zionistic policy. He's even publicly renounced his right to return to the place. He read this poem at Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park on the 11th of January 2009, during the rally that marked the start of the Stop the Massacre in Palestine. In Gaza, children, you learn that sky kills, that houses hurt. You learn that your blanket is smoke, your breakfast is dirt. You learn that cars do somersaults, clothes turn red, friends become statues, bakers don't sell bread. You learn that night is a gun and that toys burn. Breath can stop, it could be your turn. You learn, if they send you fire, they couldn't guess. Not just the soldier dies, it's you and the rest. Nowhere to run, nowhere to go, nowhere to hide in the home you know. You learn that death isn't life, the air isn't bread, the land is for you all. You have the right not to be dead. The land is for all. You have a right not to be dead. The land is for all. You have the right not to be dead. The land is for all. You have a right not to be dead. Nearly 25 years later, this poem still captures the scene. After apartheid has been called out, after not only adults, but also children have been physically and emotionally abused under arrest, after homes and schools have been bulldozed to make way for Israeli settlers, after holy places have been desecrated, after 75 years of humiliation and losing rights, after such despicable treatment, Hamas fought back. The result has been a war against Gaza, punishing the entire population. Can there actually be a war when one side actually has no army? How can Israel's precision weapons be killing so many innocent people, men as well as women and children? How can anyone with any humanity bear to look upon the scene where Gaza is denied medical supplies, food, water? Illness is raging and disease is raging too. Homes, hospitals, schools, in fact any shelter is a target. Yesterday, the IDF shot and killed 3 of its own hostages. They were in their 20s. They were not wearing fatigues, they were wearing civilian clothes. The West Bank has also seen a dramatic rise in intimidation, arrests and killings. 289 since the 7th of October. Speaking to people recently, 4 strangers' opinions have really resonated with me. Somebody said, what about the rockets that they send to kill the Israelis? Well, that's a good point. All killing is wrong. But this comment sought to justify the Israeli response of the killing of civilians in Gillingham refugee camp, including children, in April. So I said, isn't this on a par with the Ukraine defending itself? People seem to forget that this is an occupation of the land of indigenous people, and Gaza is effectively an open prison. The next one, it's none of our business. What are they? That's us, that's demonstrators. What are you on about? Well, the British government is deeply complicit in the atrocities being inflicted on the Palestinian people for refusing to vote for a ceasefire at the UN Security Council meeting, to continuing to sell arms to the Israeli military. In fact, since 2015, arms sales worth 474 million have been licensed for sale in Israel. We need to keep up the pressure on our local MPs to vote for a ceasefire by signing our petitions, writing our letters, sharing on social media, and demonstrated locally, as here, and in London. The third, I worry that if I say something against Israel, it could be be seen as anti-Semitic. Well, that is a very valid point, which has actually been used many, many times over the years to crush the questioning or any criticism of the Israeli state. But Zionism is not Judaism. The Jewish religion and culture should be respected, and is by the vast majority of people. However, Zionists have hijacked the idea of anti-Semitism to create a culture of fear in speaking out against Israel and its apartheid regime. Interesting to read in a recent newspaper report that police cordoned off pro-Palestinian Jewish protesters because they thought it was a counter-protest. Many, many Jews oppose Zionism and are visible in all sorts of areas. Look at all our sacked Labour MPs, for instance. Number 4. We need to stop talking about numbers and talk about people. And I totally agree with this. And it's a really powerful message from a Palestinian speaker at our Chatham rally. But I'm really sorry, I don't think you can ignore the numbers. So I just have to say that today, I wrote this on Wednesday, 18,608 Palestinians have been killed.
Yay!
1,147 Israelis were killed on the 7th of October, and 115 soldiers have died in ground offences. Although there is some speculation that some were killed by the Israeli soldiers themselves in the October the 7th attack, and it would be no surprise, given Israel's highly sophisticated software, that they actually knew about this attack coming all the time. Shame. Hostages were taken and they have been used to negotiate a short ceasefire so far. So let's talk about some people. Let's share a story or two. When a 17-year-old Mahmoud was shot in the back by an Israeli settler in the West Bank in July, he didn't expect to be the one punished for this unprovoked attack. But after he recovered for internal bleeding caused by a punctured lung and broken ribs, he was arrested and sentenced to 6 months administrative detention. No charge is necessary under this charge. He was surprised at his release during the prisoner hostage swap during that temporary ceasefire that we saw. Anwar was released in late October after 5 years in prison and says that following the outbreak of the war, conditions which were already poor have worsened significantly, with prisoners being beaten, a lack of food, medicines, humiliation, psychological torment. Anwar described guards asking a prisoner to walk like a dog, or to kiss the Israeli flag that was on his shoulder, to insult Gaza. Well, on leaving this prison, Anwar was asked by his fellow inmates to say to the world that we are martyrs, not just prisoners for Gaza and Palestine. Their will is strong. Their resilience spreads morale to the entire nation.